So you have no choice to use mobile phones. But for someone who studies Buddhism nowadays, facing science, society, progress, and various desires, these have become things we must confront because avoiding them doesn't solve the problem, as it is very prominent in society. Our Mahayana Buddhism is precisely about solving social problems. For this reason, my personal view is, although monks return to lay life, at least we are aware of the problem, and they know their own problems too. It turns out we simply are unable to resist temptation. Of course, there is a saying, just as Guru Padmasambhava said, a time where there are airplanes is called the degenerate age. At such times, we can only pray for the blessings of the Guru. Many parents say to me, Master, please save my son. He has been poisoned. He treats his mobile phone like a religion. They ask me what to do, and I say, no method will work, unless you stay with him and guard him every day. He may not necessarily listen to you, but right now just pray for blessings of Guru Padmasambhava. You can only seek blessings from Avalokiteshvara. This is my perspective. Some of my disciples have their phones, and I can't say, hand them over, let me check. It's impossible, because our practice of Buddhism is self-led. We're not by any means a military here, not at all. I pray to the three jewels to bless you. You can look at your phone, but don't be tempted by it. If tempted, I hope you'll have a chance to recover in the future. It's okay to make mistakes, just don't repeat them in the future. I think this world has become a place full of strong temptations. Women are attractive, and smartphones are getting more advanced. Society puts all kinds of pressure on you. Even in spiritual practice, there's often a sense of competition. I'm more successful than you, my temple's bigger, I have more followers. It seems like this is the trend. And in this kind of trend, of course, personally, I always remind myself that I should be like a beggar. So I propose the idea of treating body like a beggar and heart like gold. And that would be fine, because temptation is simply unavoidable. Speaking of this, Khenpo, could you share with us, for a practitioner or monastic, especially the young ones who are willing to practice? Some people ask to be ordained right away, but in the end, they go off and get married instead. Because when their karmic conditions arise, when that kind of romantic feeling comes, it seems like they just can't help it. So, Khenpo, with your 30 years of experience, when they are dealing with young people's emotions or struggling between monastic and lay life, what exactly should they do in this situation? What steps should they take?
Just like we mentioned earlier, for some people, after they become monastic practitioners, they actually, after they are ordained, it seems that all their afflictions and suffering are truly gone. But in reality, that's not the case. Including at the Buddhist Academy where I am, there are a great many monastics. Even now, at this moment in time, there are several thousand, 5,000 or 6,000 people. There are still that many monastics today. But indeed, some monastics in their daily lives have significantly fewer afflictions because they have completely left behind the temptations of the mundane world and have distanced themselves from relationships, both close and adversarial. Once they become monastics, they themselves also tend to follow a very stable and consistent way of living. And indeed, in the past, things were very complicated. Some people were very short-tempered and very greedy, but after becoming monastics, they became pure. Though there are people who, even after ordaining, still have these issues. We told them not to ordain, but they insisted, and yet less than a month after ordaining, they returned to lay life. So sometimes we feel that to become a monastic, one might need to observe and reflect first. There's really no need to rush into ordination at this moment. But once you truly become a monastic, it's best to not make it a path that you'll turn back and be led astray from. Otherwise, in a short lifetime, you end up playing many roles, and you might not have enough time. Of course, sometimes, just as you mentioned earlier, different causes and conditions may arise. In Buddhism, we often say that when adverse conditions appear, it may affect both monks and some of our other practitioners as well. At first, their faith may be strong, but later, gradually, they become disrespectful to their teacher and often argue with their Dharma friends. In the end, their aspiration for the path will fade away. However, In the past, there was once a philosopher who said, what is rational is actual, and what is actual is rational. If we want to truly resist all non-virtuous actions, that would be impossible. Even during the time of Shakyamuni Buddha, it couldn't be done, let alone in our present time, an era with such strong temptations and rapid changes. Therefore, as practitioners today in our field, as true and dedicated students who study and practice the teachings of Buddhism, we must continuously listen, contemplate, and seek to benefit others. At the same time, it is important for us to regularly take a step back and carefully observe ourselves. Just as a highly respected master in Tibet called Mipam Rinpoche once said, though this world is filled with bad people, we ourselves must uphold a noble character at all times. As Master Haitao just mentioned, sometimes we would indeed pray earnestly and sincerely to Guru Padmasambhava and Avalokiteshvara and pray to our own lineage masters. In this way, the negative forces that confront us can be quickly transformed into positive ones. This is something I have personally experienced. Over the past 30 years, I have encountered many kinds of situations, but despite everything, I was able to carry it forward to today. Sometimes this is related to having a steadfast mind. It does have a certain connection, but more importantly, frequently and sincerely praying to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas seems to give oneself a kind of strength in an intangible way. So for the monastics and lay people around me, I hope that they also pray often. Through prayers, their wishes are able to be fulfilled. But at the same time, we can't solely pray to accomplish everything. We must also make our own efforts, whether you're monastic or lay, especially regarding our relationship with society. I have a great admiration for some of Venerable Haidao's resilient and cautious approaches to things. I often see your announcements about Dharma activities. Your schedules are very packed. On this day, you're in Malaysia, and on the next, you're in some other country, constantly flying from one country to another. This is something that is very difficult for an ordinary person's mind to bear. I also hope many of our younger practitioners can also perhaps gradually acquire some of your altruistic spirit to serve others. In Tibetan Buddhism, we often discuss the concept of small tatsas, which are small statues of stupas. When they are taken out of the mold, all of the patterns are perfectly imprinted onto them. In the same way, as disciples, we should indeed learn all the virtues of our teachers. So I think that for many of us, really, in rare moments, to rely on our teachers, we must genuinely learn from the qualities that our teachers possess, such as compassion, wisdom, and strength. This is important.